Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host AMF1534 here. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Rush 2 Extreme Racing USA. And today we're going to be taking on the next race in the circuit, and it just so happens to be over the fog-laden city of Seattle, so dejected by the agony of defeat from losing the Super Bowl and not having a pro franchise in basketball anymore, even though that was a long time ago, but whatever. So, this actually, it's a very fun race to do. I mean, I hate Seattle with all my heart and soul, but it makes a fun race, and mainly because there's a lot of cool shortcuts to do in it, provided you can get them done. You can go right up the side here, boy, you're going to really cut out a lot of space, provided you don't get yourself killed in the process. I just got to remember how to do it here. It's one that kind of gets me into trouble sometimes. Here we go. Yeah, this is a track that it's very open, and there's a lot of different ways you can attack it. I mean, you can do it the right way if you want to, but I definitely find this particular way to be much better, because you don't have to worry about all the crazy traffic. If you go on the freeway, which is where you're essentially going, up on the old I-5 ski, then you might get yourself into trouble, because there's a lot of crazy, like, jumps and, like, uneven surfaces there, and it's a very easy way to get yourself, you know, killed, flipped upside down, very disoriented, and having other cars running into you and just fucking with your life. And so if you go the way that I showed you there, that's really going to be probably the most efficient way to get through all of it, because you don't really have to deal with anybody in the process. But then again, I may have to go on it just once, because it just brings back memories, because it's I-5, and me being an Oregonian, I-5 just goes right on through my, it goes right through my life, and everything's all good. It actually kind of reminds me of the time, I think I've probably told this story before. Ooh, boy. Oh, God. Watch out for the big dip! This is actually a very risky area here. It's not very easy to get out of it alive, as you're going to find out. Oh, baby! Oh, wow, I can't believe I did that. We're about to pull off a fairly tricky thing here. Maybe. Oh, damn it! Ah! Oh, man. That was at least like 6 levels of awesome. First of all, I can't even emphasize how difficult it can be to get into that little grassy knoll area that I was just in. Like that, you have to be able to land that jump pretty damn well to be able to do that. And the fact that we flipped over and then landed in it made that all the sweeter. But back to the story, there was a time back when I was in high school. I had a little period of time in my life where I really liked going to movies. Like, I'd always take like my girlfriend to a movie, which, I mean, that sounds pretty normal, but it actually almost sounds kind of old-fashioned. And you're like, oh, and it's not really taking your girlfriend to a movie anymore. It's just downloading a movie illegally on the internet and then watching it on the couch. That's kind of what that's turned into. But we used to go to movies, and we'd always go to a theater that's not in the town that I live in, because it kind of at least makes it a little more, you know, at least a little bit more like a date. Because, you know, you're not just like, oh, let's go drive for 3 minutes down the road and then go see a movie, and then that'll be the end of it. We'd actually kind of have like a little bit of an adventure out of it, you know, driving, you know, 30 miles up the freeway and going to a different city and seeing the movie up there, and, you know, maybe getting like something to eat on the way or whatever. And so one night, I went and saw a movie with my girlfriend at the time. And actually, you know what? Okay, we had recently, now that I remember this, we had recently broken up. And but we were still doing the whole friends thing. Like, it wasn't an ugly breakup or anything. But so we went up and we decided to go see a movie. It was her and I and one of her friends decided to tag along to, you know, cut the awkward ice, because even though there wasn't really any at all, but whatever. And so we're going up the freeway and everything's all good, and we go and see the movie, and we were leaving. And I don't remember exactly what it was that happened, but something happened where it involved, like, me letting my ex drive my car, and then, like, she was, like, driving like a fucking maniac, and she, like, totally, like, bottomed out my car, like, she, like, ran over a curb and, like, bottomed out my car and, like, damaged the front end of it a little bit. And like they were, for whatever reason, like their entire attitude pattern just like totally shifted, and they started just both acting like a bunch of like just a pack of bitches, and like they were both like saying like really like rude shit and like just like treating me like garbage when I was generous enough to, you know, like I paid for the food. Like I probably shouldn't have done that, but I paid for the food, and like I was letting her, you know, drive my car, just like trying to be nice, just trying to like get everybody involved and having fun and whatever. And like then they're paying me by, she's like driving like fucking crazy with like no regard to my own vehicle or anything. And so I got really pissed, and so I'm trying to tie this story back in case you're wondering. And I didn't even take the freeway on the way back through that. I apologize. But don't worry, we'll have many other opportunities to do that. At least 3 more. Oh god, this is a tough spot right here. Yeah. So, you know, after that whole debacle ended up taking place, man, that guy was right behind me the whole time. Even through all the shortcuts I took, he was right there. So we're driving back, like we're getting ready to drive back down the freeway to go back home, and all I can remember is that I was just in a super pissed off mood. And oh god, this one's really hard. New York Uptown is an extremely, this is one of the toughest levels in the game. Like it doesn't necessarily look like it just from first glance, but if you look a little bit harder, there are a lot of really jerky looking, like hard 90-degree turns in there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. We got enough time for one more race here. So next thing I know that I can remember, we're driving back down the freeway, and it's like 11:30 at night. And I'm just like really, like, I'm just really pissed off. Like, whatever they were doing really just rubbed me the wrong way completely. And so when we're driving back, like, I'm not even saying a word to either of the two of them, and I've got music just blasting in the car. And I think I like totally zoned out or something, because I looked down like, you know, 20 something minutes into the drive, and I looked at my speedometer, and I shit you not, I'm driving 124 miles an hour down the middle of I-5, which is, you know, it's it's the main freeway, you know, that goes all the way from essentially from Seattle all the way down to, you know, the bottom of California. And so like that's the main transit area, and and it's usually always pretty busy. There's always cops patrolling. And like I totally just zone the hell out, and when I come to and like realize like, okay, and I'm starting to like chill out a little bit, I look at my speedometer, I'm going 124 miles an hour, and all of a sudden it hit me. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not being safe at all right now. And I look over, and the look on both of their faces is like, it was classic in the sense of like, that's exactly what you would see in like a horror movie or something. But I look over at them, and they both just look petrified. Like, even like petrified just to look at me. And it was actually really creepy. Like, I looked at them, and they both looked at me like, holy shit, I am never getting in a car with you ever again. Not like I wasn't like swerving in and out of lanes or anything. Like, I was just driving straight down the way, to the point where my car started shaking a little bit. And like, that was the point where it hit me. I was like, oh my god, I was like, okay, like, I'm really sorry, like, I did not mean to, you know, make both of you extremely uncomfortable like this. But, yeah, like, I was in a really bad mood for a minute there, and I feel really bad that I made both of you guys feel extremely uncomfortable, like we were on the brink of death, because we could have been really at any given moment. Or just the fact that if I would have gotten pulled over by a cop, like, I would have probably gone to jail, because, I mean, at that point, I think I was like 17 or 18 years old, but driving 124 miles an hour on the freeway with 2 passengers in the car, I mean, that's, I don't know my whole, like, legal terms thing for, you know, for driving violations, but I'd have to imagine that there's definitely reckless driving in there, and I think there was probably, like, you know, endangerment to passengers in there, like, you know, using like vehicular manslaughter possibly if something really bad would have happened. This is a really hard one to do. Oh god. Oh. Yep, that's a tough little one right there. And you saw there was a Mountain Dew can up there, up on the ledge. It's a toughie. So yeah, dude, that's like one of my lasting memories with driving on I-5 is that. I mean, I've had a lot of weird things happen there, but like that's definitely the fastest I've ever driven in my life. And like the craziest thing was like there were no cars out that night at all, like zero. I don't think I passed anybody on that drive. There were no cops. There was like no traffic, like even on the other side, like in oncoming traffic the other way, there was nobody. And it's not like 11 o'clock is really that late. Like, I've driven home on the freeway at like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. And like there's usually always still at least like, you know, people driving one way or the other. But just that particular night, just nobody at all. And it was like the perfect storm. Because any other night, I guarantee you, I probably would have, you know, gotten everybody in a really serious situation. It would have been really bad. So I'm glad that did not happen. But that was also one of the determining things in like me finally hitting that mode of like, man, I need to never drive really fast like that again. Like, it was something I used to do when I was like 18 years old, or just like for like the first 2 or 3 years of having my license, like driving abnormally fast, like that was like the cool thing to do. Oh, you were really cool if you drove extra fast because that meant that you didn't care about the law. You lived by your own rules. And definitely could have cost me and 2 passengers their lives, and that would have been really shitty because there would have been lawsuits out the goddamn ass for that. So, you know, there was that. And another thing, this actually happened earlier. I went to Taco Bell on my way home. I went to the arcade for a little bit, and the place that I go, they just recently changed the layout and stuff. They brought some new games in, so I wanted to check it out. And they have a new game in there. It's really sick, actually. You get to play with 1 or more people, and it's like this game where you control like battle tanks, and you get to team up with 1 other person and like two computer people, and you just get to go and you get to fight all these crazy things. Like the first level in the game is you have to fight off all these like giant mechanized bees. And it's really, like, you can get like all these different weapons. You can just have like your big artillery shell weapon, or you can pick up like chain guns, or like homing missiles, or like some sort of like nuclear rocket type of thing, and like just like all sorts of, oh boy, oh god, that's a tough one. You got to be like right on the money for that to work. So there's like that level, and then the next level after that you get to fight this giant like robot octopus type of thing, and it's just fucking crazy. And like one of the other really cool things about it is that before the game starts, there's like a mounted camera like in the front of the cabinet, and it'll totally take your picture, and like you can just see it on your, like, you know, on the screen throughout the game. And it's really funny because like you can just do some stupid shit. They put like little filters in the picture where you can have like, you know, like samurai looking helmets on, and like a space helmet or a cowboy hat, or like all that weird shit. And so it's actually kind of cool. It's a really nifty game. And so after that, after being there for a little while and whatnot, I decided to come home. But I wanted to stop and get some Taco Bell first because I haven't really eaten in since about like 2 or 3 o'clock. And I'm getting ready to pull into like the big parking lot where this Taco Bell is at, and I noticed that there's a guy just like walking down the middle of the street, and he had like a bag in his hand, and he had like a long stick in his hand, and just like it looked like a drink or something, whatever. And I'm sitting here wondering like what's this guy's deal? Like, why is he just walking down the middle of the road? And it's like a fairly busy road. Like, there wasn't anybody on it at the time, but like it's a fairly well-traveled road. And this guy's just strolling down the middle of the street like nothing's going, nothing big's going on. He's just like, whatever. I totally disregard the law because I don't give a shit. And I'm sitting here thinking I didn't really want to question it at all, just because I didn't really want to like aggravate this guy because he looked like he could have been maybe potentially dangerous. I don't know. And then as I'm driving right by him, I look over and I realize that long stick that he's carrying, this guy is totally blind. He is totally blind, and he is just walking down the middle of a fairly busy road, just like totally it must have been totally oblivious to where he was at the time, because he's just like, look at me, totally blind, just having a gay old time out here. We're gonna get second place again if we're not careful. Oh boy. Oh boy, we gotta take a real sharp turn right here. Yeah! Look at that shit, bitch! We win! It's a very long race. That's one of the longest races in the entire game is that one. It's tough. But we got 2 first places, though. That's always good. So, 33 points. And Cecil is, man, he's right on our ass right now. And Stiff Dog, man, Stiff Dog. That guy sucks. He and Smiley Face are gonna have a long road to not really getting anywhere. But yeah, dude, that guy, he's just walking down the road and he's just kind of like looking around, doing like the Stevie Wonder thing, just kind of like swiveling his head around, not really paying attention. And like, I get it, like, you're blind, you obviously can't see where you are, but like, usually, like, that's the first time I've ever seen a blind person just walking down the middle of the road. And I didn't even think about it. I pulled into the parking lot and I was like, you know what? I should probably at least say something to that person. Just so they just don't, like, you know, walk out into the, because, like, right down the road, like, maybe, like, another 100 yards, this guy, like, if he would have kept walking that way, he would have walked out, like, right into the middle of Lancaster, which is just, like, it's one of the busier streets in Salem. It's just one of the bigger streets in the town that I live in. And he would have walked out right into the middle of that, and there was definitely traffic out there. Like, it was fairly busy. And so I pull into this parking lot, and I'm getting ready to go around towards Taco Bell, and I roll down the window, and I'm like, dude, you're in the middle of the road! Get on the sidewalk! And all of a sudden he just, like, stops, and he look over, and he's like, what? I was like, you're in the middle of the road! He's like, and he puts this cane thing on the ground, he starts feeling around, and he just goes, oh, fuck my ass! I am! And he's like, thanks! And he, like, finally gets out of the way, and I'm just like, God, people, you know? I mean, at least I would, if something would have happened, I totally wouldn't have seen it, but it would have been, like, in the back of my head, like, I didn't help a guy, and he got run over by a car, and whatever was in that bag is just going to be strewn about the road. Alongside his innards. I mean, we can't forget about that one. So, with all that out of the way, I just had to vent on some weird stuff today for some reason. I don't really know why I had to do that, but whatever. So, when we come back on the next installment of Let's Play Rush 2 Extreme Racing USA, let's see what we've got in store. Oh, sick. Alright. I love this version of Alcatraz. We'll get into it next time, but it's a much closer version to what the arcade one was actually like. So, when we come back on the next installment of Let's Play Rush 2, we're going to do the Alcatraz track on backwards. So, that's going to be a fun one. And doing it in backwards orientation is actually pretty rough, as you'll see. But until then, my friends, this is AMF saying thank you guys for watching. I've got some Taco Bell that I need to eat, and I'm going to probably watch myself some Dragon Ball Z, because I'm almost done with the series now, thank God. And yeah, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.